This week on the Taco Report, we're bringing you chicken mole. There are many variations of mole throughout Mexico. We'll be preparing a mole typical of those found in the state of Zacatecas. Traditionally, mole is made with turkey, but we'll be using chicken in this recipe since it's more readily available. We'll start with the whole quartered chicken covered in water and brought to a boil. Cook thoroughly to draw out as much broth as possible. Throw in a couple of garlic and spice cloves to season the broth. Now for the heart of our recipe, we're going to need some dry peppers. You can find these at any Mexican supermarket. We're going to need half a dozen California, arbol, and pasilla peppers. The next step is to lay the California and pasilla peppers out flat and remove the seeds. Next, we flash fry them in oil until they start to blister and change color. This only takes a few seconds, so be prepared to move quickly. You can flash fry the arbol chilies whole. You'll know when they're done when they start to get puffy. Put all the peppers in a bowl and set them aside. Now take about half a dozen or so tomatillos and flash fry them until they start to change color. Once the tomatillos are done, put them in the same bowl as the peppers. Next, take a large handful of raisins and flash fry them until they start to swell and change color. Toss them in with the other ingredients when they're done. Now take about 3 dozen almonds and fry them until they turn golden brown and crunchy. Put them in the bowl with all the other ingredients when you're done. Blue corn kernels are the next ingredient we need to prepare for our mole. You will almost certainly have to go to a Mexican market to find them. Ask the clerk for maíz morado. Take about a cup of these kernels and fry them until they start to pop. They'll have a crunchy bite when they're done. As soon as you're finished with the kernels, toss them in the bowl. We only have about a dozen ingredients left to go. Picking up where we left off, take a whole stick of cinnamon, break it in half, and toss it into the bowl. Now we add a couple of garlic cloves and about half a dozen spice cloves into the bowl. The final ingredient that we're going to add into our bowl is 3 sprigs of Mexican oregano, and we end up with quite an attractive medley of ingredients. This medley of nuts and spices is going to give our mole flavor. Now we're going to work on the body. We're going to take 3 Mexican baguettes called bolillos, cut them in half and make them nice and toasty. We're also going to brown about a cup and a half of plain animal crackers and set them aside. Now we're going to do some bodybuilding. Put the animal crackers and toasted bread into a large saucepan. With a ladle, pour the broth into the saucepan until covered. Don't forget to add half a tablet of Mexican chocolate. If If you like your mole on the sweeter side, you can add more. Back to our bowl of nuts and spices, we add chicken broth until covered. Top it off with a large tablespoon of sesame seed. Then we pour our mixture into the blender. We are going to blend at high speed until we have a smooth, even consistency. When we're done blending, we're going to run our mixture through a strainer and into a bowl. This is going to give our mole a smooth, velvety texture. You can add more chicken broth if necessary to thin out the mixture. Now you can set the strained mixture aside and we're going to focus on our body again. Now take the contents of our saucepan with bread and broth and put it into a blender. Again, we're going to blend until we have a fine consistency. And set this mixture aside when you're done. We're going to heat some oil in the bottom of a large pan. Then we're going to start to add our nut and spice batter. Go ahead and pour all of the batter into the pan. Be sure to keep the pan simmering. Now pour in the bread and broth mixture. And stir slowly and consistently until you get an even color. Once the mole starts to bubble, put in the chicken we prepared earlier. Be sure to keep stirring to break up the skin that forms on the surface. Now our mole is ready to serve with a side of rice. Sprinkle with sesame seeds for a beautiful presentation. We hope you've enjoyed this production. This has been the Taco Report. Don't forget to subscribe.